welcome to the Mum Style Business Podcast. Welcome back to the show. Thank you for joining me. Now, today I may get a little passionate. I this week had to go to a 7-year-old's funeral, and there are kind of just no words, right? We all know that this is unnatural and cruel and unimaginably painful for every person involved. And really, what struck me the most, as times like this always do when we get really reflective, is how precious, indescribably precious life is. And we can become really acutely aware of what is important. And I believe that it is our responsibility as those left behind to live full out and play full out and become the fullest, most expressive, live out that full potential for our time on this planet. And I'm always talking about that, actually, but it really just it just smacked me in the face again this week, because life is so short and so precious, and we are so beyond blessed. If you're listening to this, you are so beyond blessed, right? The world truly is your oyster. The world is your oyster. And I kind of don't know what that saying means now that I'm saying it twice, but you know what I mean, right? The world is yours to crack open and have whatever you want. And that niggle, that desire, that jealousy that you have, that longing, that is calling you. That is calling you. Don't ignore it. Don't put it off. It's up to us to play full out for those that can't. Because we are never going to regret what we went after, what we tried, right? We might look back on painful lessons, fine, but you'll regret what you didn't go after. You'll regret not taking the steps, because not taking the steps means you'll be stuck where you are. And as you hear this, it's likely that every person hearing this is hearing a different version of that, and different things are coming to mind. So whether that is that you haven't yet stepped out and started your business that you know that you're supposed to start, well, that's your step. Maybe you already have a successful business and you know that you're playing small, right? That's your step. Maybe it's that you have this big business and you have this team and you have this longing to do something else, but it's really scary pulling everything down to go in a different direction. You know what your step is. Like I said, that longing, that calling, that niggle, that is for you. And it won't go away until you do something about it. The 3 most important areas in our lives are our health, our relationships, and our wealth. Because wealth is the tool to do the other things, right? And make a difference. That's the tool. So when you think about those topics, health, wealth, relationships, in line with what I've said, that longing, that calling, that niggle, that desire, that jealousy even, because if you're feeling triggered, or whatever word you want to use, if you're feeling green with envy over someone else and what they're doing in their business or their life, that's a really big sign that you want that thing. And that's great, because now you know you want that thing. So don't take it as she gets to. No, she's decided, and now it's up to you. So what is it that you want to experience? What is it that you have to give? What is that change that you want to make? Right? You feel that way because those things are yours. Those things are yours. They're meant for you. That is your purpose, right? Those are the breadcrumbs to fulfill your potential. And we all think we have time, so much time, but we honestly, none of us know how much time we have. And the time that we do have is going to feel like not enough. So start now. Choose. Decide. Go after it. Go after it. And decide what that looks like. What does the go after it actually look like? How do we make that practical? Right? Because you are going to have goals in line with that. This is this is why we do a 12-week plan, right? And this is the big business strategist coming in. But it's true, right? We can have all the rah feelings and really get present with I'm not in the right place. But actually making that practical, I think, is often kind of missing from those messages and what's on the table. So I want to talk about it. I want to talk about how we make it actually practical, how we begin to go after it. What does that mean? What does go after it mean? We need to have some sort of benchmark, some goal that we're going after. So maybe it's you want to be a speaker. Great, that's the goal. What are the projects that you need to do in line with the goal? Is it that you have to do a speaker kit? Is it that you have to make connections with people? Is it that you need to build yourself a website? Is it that you need to hire somebody? What are the projects that you need to do in line to make the goal happen? And what are the actions that you need to take to bring the projects to life? Okay, you need to build a website. So you need branding colors. You need to talk with a graphic designer. You need to speak. You need to get a hosting account. You need to hire somebody, a copywriter, whatever the things are. What are the actual actions? And we list those down on our 12-week plan, ideally. Week 1, I'm going to do this. Week 2, I'm going to do this. Week 3, I'm going to do this. And if those things are truly important to you, you will put them on your calendar. You will put them on your calendar, right? You will time block your calendar and you will know exactly when you are doing those things in the areas of health and wealth and relationships. I'm talking everything: your exercise, your date night, your time with your kids, your girls' night out, your content creation, serving clients, your marketing, your meal prep, your thinking time, your bedtime, your morning routines. All of it goes on the calendar. Every single thing goes on the calendar. I'm actually running a masterclass in a couple of weeks' time called Time Block Like a CEO. So if you would like to come along to that, you can go to annalieswan.com/masterclass and you will see all of the details there. And this is going to show you how to time block like a CEO, funnily enough, in line with what we're talking about, playing the game of life full out, because so few of us are playing the game of life full out. We might think that we are, and we have really great intentions. But when we look at what we're actually doing with how we're actually spending our time, how we're actually spending our money, often they're not actually in line with what we say our priorities are. And because 95% of our decisions are made subconsciously, unconsciously, then it means that 95% of our decisions are not chosen by us. So we're only actually choosing 5% of what we do. That's pretty scary. And that's why I utilize the life GPS process that I learned from Think It Be It. And that's part of the morning routine. Right? And this is a 2-page piece of paper that describes the way that I want to live my life and the person that I want to be, as if it's already a reality. And this is what I read to myself every single morning. It's part of the morning routine. It's called the Life GPS. If you want to learn more about the Life GPS, it's 12 minutes a day. It will totally change your life. Let me know, send me a DM or reply email, and I will talk to you about that. But the behaviors that I know I need to do are on this Life GPS. Things like, going to the gym 5 days a week, making sure that 80% of my meals are clean and protein and vegetable based, making sure that I spend one-on-one time with each child each day, making sure that I give my husband compliments, making sure that I, all of the things that go into being the person I want to be, not just surface level, but really deeply who I want to be. Like a third of this is about business and 2/3 is about life, right? Literally 3 parts: health, wealth, relationships. So don't think that this is like a superficial conversation or we're getting, optimized and whatever. We're going into rah-rah masculine, I'm going to time block efficiency, productivity, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it is. And the things on our calendar will primarily actually not be business related. So both and. Right. But the behaviors that I want to be doing are on my Life GPS. I read this to myself every morning. And what happens there when you read those things that you're saying, I do this, you are rewiring your brain. Because remember, 95% of it is not chosen. We don't choose that. But if we rewire, if we feed this to ourselves every day, it changes those subconscious, unconscious behaviors, and automatically you respond in a different way. Right? I've got things in there about how I respond to my children, about how my tone is always kind. You can be sure that my tone did not always used to be kind. Still not always kind, but it's so much better than what it was because of this practice. Was I going to the gym as regularly as I wanted to do before? No. Was I pre-preparing my meals in advance always before? No. Was I I don't need to go into all of it, but you get the point. Was the things that I had in good intentions about, but didn't have the discipline around, this rewires your brain to create the discipline so that it just happens. Right? One of those things was I wanted to floss every day. Flossing's not something that I really love doing. Often I forget about it. And it's something that, I really don't like the dentist. So I really don't want to go. So I really need to learn how to floss. And after I started this process, a couple of months in, I was literally reaching for the floss without thinking. After years, decades of wanting to floss and not flossing, all of a sudden, by rewiring my brain, it's just becomes automatic. And this is how we play the game of life full out. This is how we fulfill our potential, is by getting really real about what it is that we're here for, saying yes to the scary thing, right? Saying yes to the scary thing, because even if we don't get there, we're going to learn so much on the journey and we are going to regret not doing it. If you think of yourself at, the other end of your life, 95 in a rocking chair, what are you going to regret not trying, not giving a go? What are those things? You probably already know. What's on the bucket list? Because now is the time to begin working towards those things and begin making those things happen. And how do we do it? We become that person that we need to be with something like the Life GPS, with something like time blocking. That is how we play full out, by getting real with what is our purpose, what is our potential, what is it that we're here to do, what is it that we're avoiding, and how do we say yes to that and say yes and take that scary step. It starts with the decision. It starts with the decision going, yes, I'm going to go after this. And then make it practical. Set a goal in line with that. And maybe you have no idea what that looks like. So just pick a random number, right? You'll know once you get started whether it's too high or too low. In line with the goal, we need projects. And under the projects, you're going to have actions. And those things go on the calendar. And if you're finding that those things are on the calendar and you're not doing them, then think about what I explained with the Life GPS. What do you need to feed your brain to convince yourself, your subconscious, that you are that person, that you do those things? So talk to me more about the Life GPS, and I will go more into this inside our Time Block Like a CEO workshop that's coming up. So if you would like to attend that, then come along, annalisewarren.com/masterclass. I think that's it. That this seems kind of too simple almost to be powerful, but the most powerful things are usually pretty simple. Like, life is short and life is beyond precious. So go hug those family members and spend some time with yourself, getting real with, well, what is it that you're being called to? And if you want to have a conversation, if that's feeling really big and scary, reach out. Let's have those conversations. We're here to play big. Yeah. All right. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you on the next one.